Hello, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm glad you could join me today. It's December 2nd, 2022. So I thought it was time that we make a Christmas present, and we are going to be doing the whole Christmas present to a point, because I'm sure you already have part of the Christmas present in your supplies because you've probably already made cards. So we'll give you that for the moment. What I have in front of me is the Fitting Florets paper, so you can look at that while I give you all the housekeeping notes. In the description bar below, you'll find all the dimensions and products I used in this project. You'll find a link to my online store, a link to my Facebook group. You'll find my email address, so if you have any questions or if there's something you'd like to see me do, please let me know. Also, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video on YouTube to help me grow the channel. I really appreciate all of you who have joined and who like and share. Thank you very much. So on with the project. We are making this. Yes, we're making another bag, but the bag, because it is a Christmas present, we needed a Christmas bag. But inside the box, so we're making the bag and coming back to later. This was made out of Celebrate Everything. We will not be using Celebrate Everything. We'll be using Painted Christmas on our next bag. This is using the beautiful Florets paper. This is a box that is 6.5 by 1 3/4 by 4 3/4 high. It has magnet closures, and it opens like this. And inside this box is cards. And you might recognize some of these. These are past cards I've made in past videos. They're birthday, sympathy. I put a wide variety of cards in here. I believe there's 10. If your card, I've got put some thicker cards in here, so they if you were only doing a smaller layer, you probably could get 12 in there. Everybody likes cards. And I'm sure you have somebody in your family or friends that don't make cards, or you have elderly people that like to send out cards but have a hard time getting out to the store to buy store-bought cards, which we don't want to really have them spend, $5 or $6 on a store-bought card when they can have some free from a dear friend or relative who makes cards. So this is a great gift for somebody, and so that's why I did it out of paper that was not Christmassy, so that they could use it all year long. So you have to provide the cards. So if you don't have some, you could always make some more cards. But I think it's a really nice gift to somebody. So on with the project. I'll set that over here. And I'll get the pieces. We're going to make the box first. Oh, it does have magnet closures, and I'll show you how I put those in. If you are making this for somebody who has a heart condition, and mainly if they have a pacemaker, please use Velcro dots. Anything project you have that you're going to give to somebody that potentially has a pacemaker or has or small children, use the Velcro over the magnets. My gifts are going to adults that don't have that, so I use the magnets. So you need 2 pieces of paper. We are using some lovely lipstick paper. I love this. I'm going to miss it. So we're going to score this page together. So on the, this is 11 by 8.5, full-size sheet of paper. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and 10.5. Then we're going to rotate it around, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Whoa, I went clean off the track on that one. 1/2 inch, 2 1/4, and then you're going to come down here, and at the 7, you're going to score down to the first line, or the second line, sorry, the second score line. Stop, flip it over, and score down at 7 again to the second score line. So there's no score line in this middle piece here. Okay? And on the small piece, on the 8-inch side, this is 8 by 6.5. It took 2 pieces to make this size box. You're going to score at 4 3/4 and 6 1/2. So that's the score lines on that one. And that's scoring for the moment. So now we're going to go ahead and burnish all of our score lines. Whoa! That's the red ribbon for later. Now, the only ones we're not going to burnish are these little short lines, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. Actually, I'm going to show you what to do with those little score lines right now before we fold it. It might be easier for you to do it that way. I don't mind doing it when they're folded, but it is sometimes easier. Now, you could do this without the cutter. I'm not brave enough. What you want to do is line up that score line there inside your track. The little these are down to the second lines here. And I'm going to turn this, as I've said, always turn the cutters and stuff so you can see them. I make sure I've got those in the line. I'm going to bring my cutting blade up. And we know that first one started at 2 1/4. And so I'm going to find 2 1/4. I'm going to set this down. And we know that we need to go down to 8 3/4. You can see the score line there too. You're going to cut right down to that score line. Now, if you want to be brave and hand cut this all, you could. I don't want to be that brave, so I'm not going to. And then I'm going to grab my snips and do this. You can do this part on there too, but I'm just going to cut right down that score line like that. Oop, I got a little glare there. I can't see. And there. So you can score first if you want, but sometimes it's easier to put it in the trimmer first. Or if you're going to do it by hand, you can score. It's your choice. But so we scored those. We're going to score up on these. Once you get going on this box, it goes together very quickly. Okay, so we have that all scored. These two pieces are going to be our tabs that close in. So the first thing I'm going to remove is this extra little tab. And I'm just doing a little mitering there. And a little mitering there. Oop, and I cut clear through. There. So those are going to be our tabs, and I didn't burnish those, but that's okay because they don't need to be really burnished, okay? And on the bottom, we are going to do a little bit of trimming. So first we're going to cut straight up this one like this, and this one here. And we are going to, I remember here, I designed this the other day, and I have to think about this. Cut off that piece here. That goes like that, that goes like that. Yeah, we're going to trim off this one. I had to think for a second. So it looks like that, okay? And then I'm going to just take a little wedge into this. This is what happens when you design something a week or two before you make it, and then you forget how you put the box together. So that looks like that, and I'm going to miter this ever so slightly here. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And we'll just take this one all the way up. Miter this slightly. Take this little tab off. Miter that one. A little bit on these. Now this box, it has a bottom that closes, so you could not seal it. I'm sealing mine because I wanted the security, But when we get done, I'll show you. You don't have to seal it if you don't want. You could leave the bottom so it's open, and I'll show you that option. So here's basically one side of our box, just like that, okay? Now it's time for the next piece. This piece is actually going to go on like this, okay? So before I do that though, I rounded my corners. This is optional. I know we don't have a corner rounder anymore. I know many of you do have corner rounders in your stash, so this is optional, but I like to round corner. So I want to do that now. I'm also going to get something to drink here real quick before we start attaching some of these pieces. So you need to look at how this goes. This is your lid, okay? This piece is your lid. These are your tabs, and this is the bottom of the box, so with the piece with the small tabs. So when you're putting this together, you need to make sure you have it going the right direction. Trust me, I made the mistake and did it backwards. Now you could use glue for this, or you could use tape. I'm going to go ahead and use glue on mine for part of this. So what I did, I set it like this. So I made sure I had the tops all at the top. And you're going to put glue on one of the tabs here. You're going to put glue if your glue isn't jammed like mine is, so just a moment. I don't know why it waits till I'm filming to, whoop, now we got a lot of glue. Waits till I'm filming to jam. So put a fair amount, but not too much. You don't want it running all over the place. Then what you want to do is line up the seams just like this. Okay, so that one goes there. So then we flip this over, and this one will line up just like that. Goes together really easy. And I'm putting my silicone mat in there just in case my glue gets over and I don't want it on the inside of the box. I don't want to have to wait for glue to dry, and I just did that there. And bring it over and make sure it all lines up. You can see the score lines, they should all line up. Like I said, this goes together really quickly. And then we'll retrieve this. Now, while I've got it flat before I do anything else, I like to put all my pieces on. So let's get them out of here. Whoop. Hang on. Just drop the lid to the glue. So there's two big pieces, and I've put panels all the way around the box. So here's the big panels to go on. And like I said, all the dimensions will be in the description below for all these dimensions. There's just so many. I'm not going to name them all off. And then if I give you the wrong one, then you'll be mad at me, and I don't want that. And that. Maybe the other at the front. The only side that doesn't have a panel is the bottom, because the bottom doesn't need one. And this is a great box if you wanted to make up some bunch of boxes ahead of time and not put them together. You know, you could get them all decorated, all made, and then you didn't have to, you could leave them all flat until you're ready to use them. You could put other things in this besides cards, but that's what I'm designing this box for, because I'm giving it a couple of these away as gifts. I'll just rotate this around. Like that. Okay, so there's the sides and the backs all done. There we go. Okay, now we have the top of the box. I'm going to just flip it over this way so I can work on the top. And I have two pieces. This is the bigger piece, so we'll put it on. And if your paper is directional, then you want to make sure your paper is going the right direction before you glue it on. But mine is not. I would personally pick paper that was not directional. because it just makes life easier. But this will make something very, very nice for somebody. Now this is my piece that's the top here, and I did round my corners, so I need to round these. Someone did ask me where I got this. I've had this since I started stamping over 40 years ago. I don't know where it came from. I've had it in my supply forever. That's one thing about a good punch. It will last you your entire life. Making sure I get that in there. Oh dear, I forgot to do something, but we'll show you the option. I forgot to put the magnet in. The magnets are supposed to go right here. Let's see if I can peel this up still. Nope. We'll show you the other way. You're supposed to put the magnets underneath this paper. I didn't do that. So I will show you how to do the other way, which works just as fine. So this is the bottom of the box. It closes like this. That's why you take those little wedges off so you can get it in there. And then this closes just like, well, I need a little more wedge off that one. I didn't take a big enough wedge. And just, if you don't have a big enough wedge off, just take a little more off. And this fits in just like this. So you could leave it open like that if you wanted, but I want mine sealed. And I'm going to use, to seal mine, I'm going to use tear and tape. Glue did not work too great for this. So flatten this out real quick so I can put the tear and tape on. Like I said, you could leave it open if you wanted. I chose not to. Excuse me. So, and I forgot to put the magnets on, so I'll show you how to do it. If you were doing Velcro, you do it the same way as I'm going to show you, except you won't have some protective sheets, but that's okay. Just close that up and stick it down. And if you stick your hand in, you can make sure it's got a nice seal. And now we have a completed bottom on ours. And since I tried to pull that up, I loosened the glue, so we'll put a little more on it. So I forgot to put the magnets here. You should put the magnets on before you glue your paper, your front panel down, and I forgot. So what I'm using is, I'm not sure, they're really small. They're like 8mm by 1mm. You can buy them. I got these, I think, off of Amazon. You can buy them lots of places. I have a little box. I just keep them in. But they are tiny. I'm going to set them down here individually. I need 4 of them. And I'll take one up to the camera here in a second. I have more that I need. I want to put these back in the box. Bring one up so you can see how tiny these are. They're really flat, tiny little magnets. But I keep them separate because when they get close together, they are really strong. And we're going to use glue dots to put them on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on here first. I'm going to pick up one glue dot onto my magnet. And I wanted mine right about there. I'm putting them just about spaced out. They're not, you know, measured or anything. It's just another glue dot. Try to keep them fairly even. Yeah, like that, and press them down good. Now I'm going to grab a piece of scrap pink, polished pink. And I was only going to make 2 little things, but now I'm making 4 because I forgot to put it on the inside. And I've done this multiple times where I forgot to put the magnets in where they belonged, and I just let that fly off my desk, so we'll worry about and do a 5th one. And this is what you do if you do forget to put the magnet in. And then I'm going to use a glue dot again. And the reason you want this paper in between there is these magnets are so strong that if they cling together, they will actually break. Like I said, Velcro dots will work just, you put your Velcro dot here and here, and then work it a couple times, and that works just fine too. So what we're gonna do, we got that part there. Now we're gonna pick up another magnet, and I'm gonna drop it. It will find the way it's supposed to go, and exactly where it's supposed to go. Then I'm going to put a glue dot on each of them, just like that. Okay, and we're going to close this up like we would, and then you pull this over. It's right there, and then just give it a little rub. It's going to be hard to do, and it may take a couple times to get it. Nope, got it first try. Then take and push them down. Now these don't look too good there, but they'll look better in a minute. So we'll just put another dot and another dot. Like I said, this is a pretty easy gift to give somebody. It doesn't take a lot of time, and I think it's one that will be very well appreciated. So now we need to load up the thing. So guess what I have? Another stack of cards. And you may recognize some of these. Lots of different cards. I think there's about 12 in this stack. 10 or 12, something like that. I didn't count them. And I actually have a little more room. I can put, there's envelopes for each one of them. Like I said, great gift for somebody. And we close it up. And that goes like this. Now I thought it needed something else. So I decided to put a little bow on it. And I've already pre-tied the bow. And this is the, what is this? The glittered organza ribbon. And I tied a bow, and we're just going to go ahead and put a glue dot on the bow. And put that right in the center, like that. Just to add a little bling to it and make it look pretty. So that is our box. Like I said, it's easy to make. Very, very cute. So now we need a bag to go with this box. Let me grab the stuff for that one and slide some of this other crap away. We are going to use, and I've already done one panel of a bag, so you didn't have to watch me do two. And this is from Painted Christmas. Let me get my scoreboard again. Woo! Flip my instructions over because these are the dimensions for the bag. Now this piece of DSP is 10 inches by 12 inches. So a little different. It's not a full size. I didn't need a full size, and so I went this way. So on the 10-inch side, we are going to score at 2.5 inches and 10.5 inches. And you do that with both pieces of paper. You need two of them. We are going to rotate this around. We're going to score at 2.5 inches, and we're going to flip our paper over at 10 inches and score. And that's the scoring on this one. Now we're going to burnish it. And once again, these dimensions are so close together. Hang on here for a second. Yeah, that's right. This is our 10-inch, and we're going to flip it this way and burnish it down to at the top of our box. And I'm going to fold this here and give this a burnish here as well. And this one. Reburnishing once you fold over does make it stick a little better. And we have a little cutting to do. We have a little tab right here that we need to cut off. We're going to cut straight up and wedge in. And then we need to cut straight up this line, this panel right here. And I'm going to take this little tab here, it's not so little, And I'm taking off, I mean just a smidge. Just to add a little extra room in there when we close it, so we don't have it peeking out. Sorry, I needed a drink. I got thirsty. And we're going to take some tear and tape on this. Go clear across. Got a good press to make sure it's all down. Now we have two pieces. Like I said, I already made one. And then we're going to take and attach them. Oh dear. It appears I cut one wrong. So what am I going to do? Tell you what we're going to do. Bear with me. I made the box the wrong direction. So let's find a different color. We're going to have to make a different color bag. Something I have 2 sheets of. We're going to go with this color, because Lori made a huge mistake, and I'm so sorry. But I'm human, and I make mistakes just like everybody else. And I turned that the wrong way and cut it the wrong way. So let me grab my trimmer real quick here. Don't you just love when I make a mistake, so you get to see what has to happen to fix it? I won't let that paper go to waste. There's a lot of good paper in there, and I'll use it for something else, to make some cards or something. We're going to score this, or cut this down to 10 inches. DSP, if it does not specialty paper, you can actually cut it at two thicknesses at once. So let's try this again. Sorry, you're going to have to watch me score both of them. That's not my scoring tool. That won't work very well. Let's do this again. On the 10-inch side, we're going to score at 2.5 and 9.5. We are going to flip it around, so the small piece, this is where I made the mistake. I flipped it the wrong direction. So the small piece is down here. Small score piece, I should say. And you score it 2.5 and flip it at 10. And this one, we're on the 10-inch side again. 2.5, 9.5. Flip it around so the small piece score area is right here. 2.5. Flip it and score it at 10. Sorry about that. I'm human. So there's our 10-inch. So we're going to go ahead and fold him over and burnish him first. Now we'll fold everybody else the other direction. So you could tell your people, friends, you know, come watch Lorraine. She does things wrong sometimes, and we just deal with it. So there's that one, and this was our piece that folds down. And here's our other one, and this is the piece that's going to fold down. So we'll do that one that way. But that is the problem, is I flipped it the wrong direction when I went to score it, instead of making sure that small piece was closest to me. And that's what happens, is you end up with two pieces that are the wrong size. They don't fit together. And if I'd had another piece of that particular paper, I would have just grabbed that and fixed that one side. But I did not have that. So we've got these here. So this is the end we're going to trim on. And I'll try to do this as quickly as possible since you guys all see me make the mistake and cut this before. I got paper all over. So there's that one. Okay, now back to where we were. Let's get some tape on these. That one's just above the fold line. This one's at the top. And we know we're going to need it on this side, but we're going to wait until after we got this folded, okay? Normally, if it was just a regular bag, I'd put it there, but I want to get tape up on this piece after we're done. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So, is everybody getting ready for Christmas? I know we are. And you notice it's quiet in here. I don't have any kitties in here today. This is why I wanted to not put tape on this side yet. It's because I want to get in here and I want to burnish this really good. And I want to burnish this fold really good because you've got a double layer of stuff there and you don't get a good burnish on it. The bag doesn't turn out too good. So we need to put tear and tape on this one and this one. Now, you see they go together this way. So like I said, make sure your little half-inch scored area is closest to you. And then you want to get over here and line up right up against that score line. Make sure your piece is all, you can see where your score lines are and stuff and where that piece goes. I'm going to give that a nice rub. Flip this over like this. Whoa, got tear and tape streamers all over the place. And then this should fold. Sometimes you have to do a little maneuvering, but not much. There we go. Give that a little burnish. There's the bag so far, okay? Now we need to do the bottom. It doesn't matter which is the front or the back on this one because you got seams on both sides, so I'm going to put a little glue. On this and flip this one over and make sure you're nice and square. And then add more glue to this one. If you do it quick enough, you can square it all up at the same time. Pull this one in. Oh, I'm off screen again. I'm sorry. I have to look up occasionally and look at the monitor and make sure I'm not off screen. But with glue, you have a chance to maneuver this around a little bit. And then, well, this is actually big enough. You can take your whole hand and push that down. And there is our nice bag. That looks pretty good. Just like that. So then I'm just going to push in. I'm just pushing in ever so slightly just to give a little curve there, because once we put the cards in here, it'll come out to the sides. Okay, then I'm going to grab my Old Faithful punch, and I'm going, you know, you can eyeball this. Mine, I'm just going right up to where it folds and pushing it down as far as it will go. And then coming over on the other side, going over to the thing as far as it will go. That way, I know my holes are going to be fairly lined up. I'm going to do the same thing on this side and that side. There we go. Got holes in the bag. And then we're going to use, this is the Real Red and Garden Green ribbon combo you've seen me use before. And you've seen me tie bags before with knots, but these I am printing on the inside. Last bag, I think I did the outside. And depending on the thickness of your ribbon, it's going to determine how many knots and how big your hole is. The smaller the hole, the less knots. I think that was, I'm going to put one more in, so it's about 4. But on this one, if you're using really thin ribbon, seam binding ribbon, you will need, well, we'll put one more in just because. If you're using seam binding ribbon, you will need a lot of knots. That's not going anywhere. Seam binding ribbon is really quite light, and you would need a lot of knots in there. But this one's about 4, I think, except for that last one I messed up. Let's see. No, 3 will work. That one will work. And the other side. And you could put a paper handle on this. You don't even need a handle if you didn't want it. You could put some tissue paper in it. You know, there's all different ways of doing it. But like I said, I'm giving these away as some Christmas gifts. And so I had to have a Christmas bag to put them in. There we go. And then we have our beautiful little pink box we made. So there's the bag, there's the box. This goes in like this. You could put a few little tissue. There's still room to put some other stuff in there if you wanted for the person. And there we go. I was going to tell you about how long was my ribbon. The ribbon was about 22 inches long. But you can put shorter, you can put any size ribbon on you want, okay? So that's what we made today. You have to add the cards yourself, but I think this is a great present for somebody. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for working through my mistake. So I won't let the paper go to waste. There's a lot of good paper to be used out of there, and I will use it. But like I said, when you're doing this, make sure that when you turn your paper, the little half-inch piece is facing you on both sheets so that you score it correctly. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, have a good day. And it's Friday. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.